Now, DC, remember, don't type during the podcast.
Got you, homie. No typing. I just wrote that down. All right, so I think we should start right now. All right, so welcome, guys. Welcome back to the BPD podcast. We'll get an intro song here shortly, but something happened to me this morning. Well, actually, more like 20 minutes ago. A light bulb went out in my bathroom, and this is an apartment that is not mine. I didn't set it up. So apparently, to get to this light bulb, you have to unscrew a covering. It's in the bathroom, and it's a pain in the ass for me because I am not a handy person, right? I grew up with my mom and my sister and my grandma. No father. My father was somewhat present, but I didn't learn how to use a screwdriver until I was like 16 years old. So the question I pose to you two is, are you guys handymen? And my guess is Pound is not, and Bailey is somewhat because he's stubborn, right? So he thinks he can fix everything and therefore tries. Go ahead.
You are right and wrong with me. I think I'm fucking shite at it. I think I'm useless. I'm the opposite of thinking I can do everything. If something goes wrong, I'll be like, Dad, come fix this.
Yeah.
But also, I took apart my Wii the other week.
What were you doing inside of a Wii?
Look, long story, it broke. Alright, we don't need to go further than that.
Okay.
And I fixed it! So, I'm semi-competent, but also if something goes wrong, I'd rather not deal with it.
It turns out he was just using the wrong power cord for the Wii.
Good.
Pound, are you handy? Are you a handyman?
So when you were telling that story, I remembered Bailey was saying that we need to play this British game where you tell like a story about yourself and you have to guess if it's real or fake. And DC's just like out of nowhere, DC's like, okay, so earlier my light bulb broke and my dad's in prison, so I had to fix it. And I was like, is this real? But I am completely helpless at fixing. I can fix if the toilet like isn't flushing properly. I can like open the tank, pull the little chain thing, and get it fixed and stuff. But that's like the extent of. That's it. Yeah. No inside jokes. That's about the extent of my handyman experience. I cannot do jack shit with a tool.
I like how DC was very gassed to tell this story. My light bulb broke.
Well, it just happened. It literally happened at like 1:55, and I was like, I was about to take a shit, like pre-podcast, and I turned my light on, and then I'm on the toilet, and it goes out, and I'm like, this is gonna be a real fucking headache to fix, and I was upset.
Bro, I have a light bulb in my car from when I had to go get it fixed, but like I don't know the names of light bulb. I'll just take it, and then I just left it in my car.
Don't know the names of light bulbs.
Yeah, they have like code names, and I don't fucking know, Pound.
All right.
Do you see? You good?
Yeah, no, I'm always good. What's up, bro? But here's what I'm doing. I'm getting the podcast started. So Bailey,
okay.
Just a couple of guys with a microphone hanging around the campfire, telling stories, funny and old, and we're gonna have some. All right, just use the song from last week. Let's do that. let's just do that.
I legitimately replay when I'm editing the podcast. I listen to your songs like over and over because I genuinely enjoy them.
Wow.
I like how they get progressively worse.
Yeah, they do. What did I said? Campfire?
The ending song was the most beautiful. Like I legitimately almost started crying at our outro song last podcast.
It's because you're
it was like. He's like, I was like, man, what has all my years of content creation been for? What have I accomplished? And then DC spelled it out for me. He was like, the three best friends go and get ice cream. And I was like, yeah, that's what it's for.
Pound got all sentimental, just hanging out with my three best friends. All right, so what do we have on the agenda today?
Okay, first thing on the agenda is we have our first ever recurring segment on the podcast. It's what did DC do to almost miss the podcast this week?
Yes, I like this.
Wait, I don't like that, but I'll get to that.
I text DC yesterday because last week we had to do the podcast a little earlier than normal, and I like the earlier start time. So I texted DC yesterday, and I said, hey, would you want to do the podcast earlier this week, just like we did last week? And DC said, yeah, I can do 1 p.m. I said, okay, 1 p.m. And I go message Bailey. I'm like, hey, can you do 1 p.m.? Bailey's like, yeah. So we're all set and everything. Not 30 minutes later, DC texts me and he says, hey, I have an appointment. I can't make it. I'm like, you fucking scheduled the podcast. How'd you not make your own schedule?
Okay.
How would you like to...
I had a medical appointment that I simply forgot about. I'm sorry, Pound. I'm a fucking human being, so that's my bad. No, but here's the other thing. Today, I got no responses out of that. Pound texted me this morning. I can tell that he's nervous that I'm going to forget this podcast,
For
right?
good reason.
Like, yeah, I've given him some good reason. I will admit that. But he texts me like a countdown. He's like, podcast 5 hours. Podcast 3 hours. Podcast
He's
2
like a
hours.
detective golfer.
Yeah. And so I thought I'd prank him. Today, I texted him like 2.5 hours after he said 3 hour mark, and I said, all right, so 3 hours from now. And he's like, dude, I sent that to you 3 hours ago. And I was like, I'm just playing. But yeah, I can.
In between him admitting he was joking, I DM'd Bailey. I sent him screenshots of the text. I'm like, no podcast today.
You're so nervous for me. Yeah. And then boys and girls listening, they're Pound. I open up Discord and I read our DMs. I'm catching up on our our group chat between the three of us, and in that they're saying DC won't be here. DC's got to check our sound. That's his problem, etc., etc. And then I show up and I have everything set up in OBS. I have the scene set up. I'm ready to go. And then Pound says, "Hey, I got a hot pecan pie in the oven. I'll be a little late to sound check." I'm like, "Come on, man." You got a fucking bomb timer sending me every 20 minutes about the podcast, and then you have the audacity to heat up your grandmother's pecan pie.
So in my logic, I was like, okay, there's no way DC can figure out how to start a computer in 5 minutes. I can beat up a pie.
I work in IT. I start my job Monday, where I will be fixing other people's computers.
Why do you keep peeking your mic?
Sorry, I get real when I get mad. I get real close to it, and I get real involved into
horrible.
it. All right, well, Jesus, I'll turn it down.
I was like,
You guys are always yelling. At me.
maybe like 30 minutes before we meant to start today, I was like, yeah, DC will be here in an hour to Pound. We were just shitting on you until you got here.
Yeah.
And you always come so fucking late. Like, you're here like on the dot. And I'm like, bro, I need time.
No, that's how I roll in my real life too. Like, I show up to things right as they start. I'm not one of those people who like goes to a movie and wants to show up 25 minutes early to catch the previews. No, I show up at parties, events, sporting events, like right before it starts. Maybe even a couple minutes after. That's just how I roll.
Yeah, me too, but like, I don't have to do microphone checks for any of that.
Yeah, but I was online at 1:49, and then Pound was still heating up said pie, so I don't want to hear it.
I love showing up early to watch the previews.
I know
free
you do.
extra movies.
I know you do. I know. Pound's like, we got to show up to the theater about an hour early to get in line for the popcorn. I don't know why I'm doing like a southern accent. Oh, this is real different, but Bailey, do you know what the show Hey Arnold is?
Never heard of it.
I'm very well versed in it.
All right, well, I'll make this really short, Pound. I've been rewatching it.
Yeah, I'll just mute my
Hulu.
mic for 10 minutes.
No, I'm not going to go into this. I've been rewatching it, and it's been great. But what made me do that southern voice is the Stinky character. Remember how he talks like this? Hey, Arnold, I don't know what I'm doing in the classroom. Anyway. All right, so
Somebody help me start my trailer to get the herd in by sundown.
yes, you remember. All right, so other than the segment of DC, will he make the podcast? What else do we have on the agenda today?
So, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's currently January 2nd, and we just had this thing called New Year's. So, I thought if you guys had any New Year's resolutions, that the audience would love to hear about it.
I don't do that. I don't do New Year's resolutions.
Can we suggest each other some?
No, that could go very poorly. But sure, go ahead.
What? You're like, no, but actually go ahead.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear what bang energy. All right, go ahead.
All right, DC, yours is to stop opening drinks and drinking them on the podcast.
Okay.
That's part of our aesthetic.
It's awful.
It makes us real.
Yeah, then the viewers are going to watch the podcast, and they're going to be like, hey, DC, he drinks stuff just like I do.
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention that this is a sponsored podcast by Bang Energy.
Bang energy, feel the tiger inside you.
Is that actually the slogan?
No.
Bang Energy. Your girl... No, I can't say that. All right.
We're just misrepresenting this.
Hi, Arnold. Can you get me another bang energy?
All right. New Year's resolution for Pound. Bailey, what is it?
Stop doing shit accents.
Okay, these resolutions have to be based off of pre 5 minutes ago. Go ahead.
Yeah, Pound, stop doing shit accents.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Me and DC are just like, I don't want to improve as a person.
Well, here's the I go back and forth, right? Like, I like to set goals.
You go back and forth between improving as a person?
No. As like, where I feel...
Yeah, 1 week he's bombing police cars.
Where I fall on the New Year's resolutions, right? Because to me, it's like corny, and I've just been a person who hates most things corny. And so it just seems like too gimmicky for me. But I think there's like a subconscious layer of I don't want to set a goal that I won't attain, so just don't set it in the first place. And then the third aspect of it is...
Very positive attitude.
I say I don't like to set resolutions. I like to live in the present, right? How awful is that? But
Yeah, it's partially just saying I don't want to improve at all.
Yeah,
but me too, DC. I'm with you. Pound's just a big fat nerd.
Yeah, Pound. Let's hear these. I want to hear these. If you're like, I want to read 10 books. I want to climb Mount Everest, and I want to make love to a woman. Like, I'll slap you across the face. So let's
Just
hear
one.
these.
Just a single
Hold
one.
on, do you guys... That insult that was just thrown at me. Do you guys know Abe Plays Games?
Yes.
He was an old Clash Royale streamer. He got partnered. He was averaging like 200 viewers. Pretty big streamer. And I would always co-host with him on the stream. One day he actually came like visit me. He's the only Clash Royale person I've ever met IRL.
Wait, didn't he come to live with you?
He got kicked out of his house, and I said he could stay with me for a week.
So that's not a visit. That's taking in a homeless person. But go ahead.
Yeah, but it's not permanent. I said he could do it for a week.
All right, go ahead.
Abe shows up, and remember, we've been friends for like a year and been on, like, me and him are on stream like every day for like a year. He shows up, the first person from online I've ever met in real life. He says hey to me. That's his first. The second thing he says to me, though, he goes, yeah, you're a little fatter than I thought you were.
Yeah.
After I let him into this homeless man into my house. That's the first thing he says to me.
Like most people when they see somebody in real life will be like, oh, you're not as fat as I thought you were. But this man goes the other way. He's like, you are fatter than I thought you were.
He turned it into a compliment. He was like, you'd be really attractive if you lost weight.
Wow. That's not that's a backhanded compliment. That is the definition of a backhanded compliment. And then
he messaged you the other week?
Yeah, he DM'd me because we both are into Pokemon, and
Right.
There's this guy named Blunder. He's got like 80,000 subscribers, and I was on his channel for like I wasn't like a co-star, but he battled me in the video, and so that was my first bit of fame in the Pokemon world.
Right,
So-
but he didn't just like randomly message you?
He just sent me the video, and yeah, it was that we hadn't talked in like 3 years, and he sent me the video, and he was like,
Right.
yeah, you were on.
I haven't spoken to him since like 2018 either, and he messages me the other day, and he talks about like my YouTube channel and stuff, and he's like, well, that's really cool. Right, out of nowhere, I respond, and I'm just like, hi, yeah, that's cool, how have you been? And he just fucking airs me, so
he what?
I'm cancelling that, man. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him in years.
No, what is
his message?
What'd you say? He aired you?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
ghosted him.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the exact same thing happened to me. He sent me that link, and I was like, yeah, it's my first time ever on being in a Blunder video. I really liked it. I never heard back from him.
Here's what it sounds like. You guys should see if your timestamps match up. But it sounds, you know, when you ever get like, have you ever gotten like fucked up and you like message somebody out of the blue that like you just go on like you go down nostalgia road or whatever it's called, memory lane, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna message these guys, and then you sober up the next day and you're like, yeah, fuck them. Like,
Wow.
that's what it
Thanks,
sounds like. It's what it sounds like.
Appreciate it.
Or he got Wi-Fi for like 3 minutes. Like he's been off the grid for the last
homeless.
3 years, and he finally connected. And he's like, "Oh my God, Pound Bailey!" But I think the first one's more likely than that.
That did happen to me.
He just wants us to come live with me for a bit, and then remembered I was in the UK, so we can't.
So when I was working at Buffalo Wild Wings, a chef there. It's kind of, I guess
Don't
it's
call
kind of
them chefs.
wrong to call them chefs.
An employee, a cook.
The cook at Buffalo Wild Wings, he was selling some stuff. And
Foods,
I said,
maybe?
oh, I've never done that before. Let me partake. And that's the exact thing I said to him. And so I go home and I take this thing that he gave me. And all of a sudden, it's like 5 a.m. I'm still wide awake. My heart is like pounding. And for some reason, I just go on Twitter and Discord. I write like an essay to all the like Rumham, Clash with Ash, like all these. I'm like, I've enjoyed your content for so long. Thank you so much for being such an awesome person. I just got like so sentimental.
Rumham just saw the first sentence and like, this guy's trolling me. Fuck this kid, bro. But wait, Pound, what? You bought sketchy drugs from a chef, a 5-star chef from Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah, and it had Donald Trump's face.
Oh my God! You took ecstasy. You took literal ecstasy.
I didn't understand the implication. I was just here like, wait, he was just like setting up a merch store or something.
A pop-up shop in the alley of Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm so confused.
No, Pound literally just described. He's like, I took ecstasy, and then 5 a.m. happened, and I wrote an essay to Rumham saying I loved you. That's what happened to Abe. Full circle, right? He took a bunch of ecstasy, got online, said, Pound, Bailey, I love you guys, and then he sobered up the next day.
I don't know anything about that. Like I barely drink. I don't do weed or anything like that.
Just
and
ecstasy.
my brother is much more versed in this than I am, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I think that was just like ADHD medication that he like put into it. He's like, I don't think that was anything.
No, I thought it was Adderall until you said there was Donald Trump's face on the pill, and that's when I knew. That's when I knew it wasn't a pill designed by the government. It was handcrafted in some sketchy ass meth lab.
Well, my brother thinks it was mainly just Adderall though that he tried to pass off as it.
I don't think so, though. But anyway,
my New Year's resolution, and this kind of ties into DC's thing about the social dilemma and about social media and stuff. So I'd like to get I feel like you'd have something similar to talk about with this. My New Year's resolution is to cut out soda. The thing with that is that, one, I do not drink as much water as I should. But these soda companies like Pepsi, I remember reading a story where Pepsi had over 40 different it's like the exact same recipe, but they had 40 different levels of sugar in like all of the ingredients. And they just like had all these test groups until they found like which one people like couldn't stop drinking. And that's just like, it's kind of like the social dilemma. You talked about how Twitter and Instagram, they're designed to like get you addicted to it. And it's kind of weird because, cooking is supposed to be kind of like you put your soul into it. You put like your personal touch, and having this like corporation have like 40 different levels of sugar and all their ingredients to see which one's the most addictive. It just seems so creepy with like the scientific level of accuracy.
Manipulative is the word.
The corporation, like it takes all the personhood away from like making something, and it's all just corporatized to manipulate you.
My first question is, are you not drinking diet soda?
No, I am drinking diet soda.
So you're like, they don't put sugar in that though.
Oh, there's sugar substitute.
Yeah, I got you. No, I'm right there with you. I thought I was just curious if you were, because I was going to say, if you're drinking regular soda, at least drink diet. But dude, I'm right there with you. I'm addicted to Diet Sprite right now.
And Bang Energy.
All right, Bailey, your thoughts on it?
Good on you, Pound. You're a better man than I am.
But Pound, I do like the correlation you drew from the social dilemma, like these corporate mongrel. What is mongrel? What do you call them?
Moguls?
Moguls. Jesus, these corporate moguls are literally putting their millions of dollars of research in how to drain us of every ounce of energy, attention, and money. And it's like, it's scary. Pound, next resolution.
Well, I wanted to tie that in with, before we had all this social media, like food was just like, you kind of picture like a mom and pop, cook for their family, and the family's like, oh, this is really good, you should sell this. And then they open up like a little small town restaurant. But now there's not that many small town restaurants anymore. There's just like all these chains everywhere. And I want to tie it into YouTube, where, when YouTube launched, you couldn't even make money on it. There wasn't ads or anything. And so the only people making videos were like just people in their rooms with a webcam trying to entertain people. And now if you go to the trending tab, it's like, well, half of it is like these major television networks with like adding their late night show clips on there. And then the other half are these content farms that are like trying to pretend they're just like a normal creator, but it's actually, they've got like 20 people in an Indian sweatshop. They're like all mass producing these like crappy animated, My Story animated videos, these like 5 quick tips to like turn your phone into a mirror, which like doesn't even make sense.
You know who the first person to click on those videos is?
Is it you?
It's Lol No Pound.
But I shit on them for the stream.
You go to the darkest, deepest secret holes on YouTube ever, and you only do that by clicking every video on there. But all right, keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt. Just when you said those short animated videos, you watch like all of those.
I guess I'm just being nostalgic of, you picture like a guy like PewDiePie. The reason it's so cool he's got like 100 million subscribers is that all he does is like sit in his room and record himself. There's no, back in the early days of the internet, before the internet, if you wanted to make like a TV show, you wanted to make a movie, you had to go to one of these giant TV stations and pitch the show to them. And if they say no, then you're not allowed to do that anymore. And now when YouTube started, you had all these independent people making their own content, and YouTube highlighted them.
Yeah, I get it. But you're nostalgic, or you're in need of that raw early YouTube internet energy videos, right? Like
when it was just totally people trying to entertain other people. Yeah. And now it's just, as I said, it's like these big corporations that are just pumping out shitty videos, and like 5% of their budget goes to making the video, and 95% goes to like, what trends, what thumbnails are people going to click on? Like how shittily can we make this and still get like 10 million views? Because it's so weird. You go into trending and it's like Among Us funny moment number 87, and it's got like the thumbnail is like a girl with giant tits and a Among Us character, and it's like 20 million views. Well, who the fuck is watching this?
Can you pay YouTube to like throw it higher up in the algorithm?
No, I think like you can only do Google ads.
Okay. Well, yeah, the problem is on the suggested videos for you, very rarely is it like some small YouTuber or like some webcam filmed or iPhone filmed video. It's always these mass produced, and it seems like it's the same exact ones with your favorite channel sprinkled in there. Like it'll be like my recommended is like Clash with Ash, like some guitar videos, and then it's just it's stuff that I never watched. It's just big production, like you were saying. So I don't know if it's YouTube's fault for trying to make money on these. I don't know. I know what you're saying. I agree with you.
There was a controversy, I can say words, controversy ages ago about corporations paying YouTube to be higher up and on like suggested and stuff. No allegations, I don't care. But that was like a thing that was rumored, so I would believe it.
I would believe it too, definitely.
You know what I found out this week that super pissed me off?
What?
I remember I'm going to really date myself here. I remember in 3rd or 4th grade, I got invited to a sleepover party for my buddy, and his parents took us to Blockbuster to like rent a movie for the night. And we found this documentary about the history of dragons. I watched this documentary, and it shows like where they found actual like fossils of dragons.
Was the documentary 1 minute long where it said, "Welcome to the documentary about dragons. We found out dragons are not real. They've never been real. Thank you for watching."
No, it's like a full hour, and it's like really like it's just like any nature channel or like science channel. Like it's super well done, high budget, and they show like these actual dinosaur fossils, and they bring on scientists, and they talk about like how where the dragons lived, like when they went extinct last, and they showed the like mountain where they found the fossil of like I guess the last dragon because it's the newest fossil. The stone had like charcoal mixed into it, so the dragons would like eat the stones. And they would use that to power like their breathing fire and stuff. Uh-huh. And I was like, I had no fucking idea that dragons are actually real, because they have the actual fossils and they have the scientists like talking about it.
Wait,
I think about this.
I just need to clarify.
No, hold on, just hold on.
All right,
hold on. In the last week, I'm reminded of that because I remember it was so cool watching it in the 4th grade with my buddy at a sleepover. I spend like 20 minutes Googling. I finally find it. And I start watching it, and at the very, very beginning, there is like a you have to like pause to read it. There's like a 2-second frame where it says like, this entire movie is fictional. It's not, it's made to look real, but it's not. And if you went to make popcorn, if you put that on, went to make popcorn and missed the first minute, you were just fucked forever because they do not ever reference that it's not real except to the very beginning.
I think you should maybe the reference should be the part where they say that animals eat coal to breathe out fire. That should maybe be your reference to this.
They had it said Dr. Hiroshi Makino. He's explaining all this. I'm yeah, it's a real scientist.
Sorry, he has an East Asian name. He must be legit.
There's so many things I want to dive into here, but there's the shows about chasing Bigfoot, about ancient aliens, and there was an actual documentary on Animal Planet. It was a 2-hour documentary. It was totally captivating and totally interesting, and it was about mermaids, and it was so cool. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's all these scientists, conspiracy theorists, and if they're put together in a well-done documentary, yeah, it looks real. But Pound, maybe you learn to read the fine print from now on.
Okay, I was 8.
You grew up from ages 8 until, what are you, 24 now? 22? Believing in dragons. You're all I have to do is eat charcoal and I'll breathe fire.
I completely forgot about it, okay? It just popped back into my head.
Right on. But no, definitely go watch that mermaid documentary.
Are they paying for this promo?
This is sponsored by Bang Energy. No. All right.
Someone brings up in chat about, since I was talking about dragons, they were talking about believing in Santa. And I remember I was what would you say the usual age for realizing Santa's not real is?
I would say 8.
8, yeah. Until the kid on the bus says, Santa's not real, you dipshit. But here's what my dad did. I was in 3rd grade, or I was young, not 3rd grade. I was young. I'd say 7 or 8. And we're walking through the parking lot of a grocery store. It's about Christmas time. And he just looks at me randomly out of the blue. I might be remembering this a little more catastrophically than it happened. And he just says, Santa's not real, right? And that's how
Why?
That's what I said. I said, why, Dad? Why? In the Bailey accent. And and that's how I found out Santa wasn't real. He's like...
But then he goes, but dragons are real.
But dragons are real.
Yeah. No, I have my dad inadvertently made me realize it because when I was young, right, my first home console was a GameCube, right? That's how young I am.
Wow.
And my mother hated it. She's a big technophobe, right? She is very anti-video games and stuff. I don't know why. She just doesn't like it, right? So I can't remember what happened, right? But she unplugged it one day and just got rid of it and was oh no, it's gone magically, right? And my parents are split up at this point, right? So I tell my father, and this is around Christmas, and then at Christmas, he buys me a new one because he's really trolly, right? So he's trolling my mother by getting me a new one. And he comes over to my house and my mother's why have you bought him this? But my father said that it was from Santa to me. Yes. So I realized that my dad was trolling my mother, but...
Dude, your dad has really good pranks. Usually a prank is they cheat on their wife or something. He bought you a GameCube.
No,
yeah, I know. I benefited massively, but she hated him.
Yeah, he didn't care about Bailey's happiness with the second GameCube. His main goal was just to stick it to his mom.
No, you joke, but it was.
Yeah, 100%. I know how that goes. A quick story about believing in fantasy shit. I believed in the tooth fairy, right? When I was a kid, I lost a tooth. My mom would put $1 under my pillow, and the tooth would be gone the next morning. So I was young, looking for cash, and I put a note under my pillow that said, I didn't tell my mom about any of this. I wrote a note. It says, "Dear Tooth Fairy, I lost my tooth, but I lost the actual tooth. Please forgive me," or something. And then I put that note under my pillow. Checked it the next morning. Note was still there. No money. And I did that for the next 6 or 7 days. And I finally, when the note was still there and no money was present, that's how I figured out the tooth fairy was not real.
This was last week.
This was not last week. I was and one more story about teeth.
How many stories about teeth could there possibly
There's only 2. I just talked about the first one.
This is actually on the view submitted Google form. Teeth stories.
I didn't think you were supposed to lose your molar teeth, the big ones in the back, as a kid. I thought so. I was at a Pizza Hut parking lot with my dad and family and friends, and I felt this tooth wiggling, and I pulled it out and I panicked, right? Because I was like, oh fuck, like I'm not supposed to lose these teeth. These are permanent teeth. I'm gonna get in trouble for like eating too much candy or some shit. So I took the tooth and I just chucked it in the parking lot and never told anybody about it. Gone, bro. No evidence. Like let's go have some stuffed crust pizza. And then I found out years later. I was like, the dentist was like, yeah, you're supposed to lose those. I was like, fuck, man, I just lost out on like $10 from the tooth fairy.
Did you not find out? Yeah, I was gonna say that too. But did you not find out that you're supposed to lose them when the next one grew in?
No, I thought those were different, bro. I thought those were your permanent like chewing teeth. Right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We think of weird shit when we're kids.
Okay, I can understand the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus because those are based around like major holidays. But what the fuck is the Tooth Fairy? Like, how does that even make sense that you would get paid for your tooth falling out?
Why would a huge costume bunny bring you chocolate-filled eggs? Like, why is?
But it's at least based around a holiday.
I don't know.
Yeah, but there's nothing to do with chocolate or bunnies in the holiday.
Yeah, and bunnies, yeah, as you said, bunnies don't lay eggs. None of this makes sense.
Wow, the realization is unreal.
Wait, bunnies just give birth to live bunnies? Is that what you're saying?
DC was 28 years old when he figured that out.
Wait,
or 29.
Bunnies are too cute to
29.
not lay eggs, dude. I'm 22.
Alright, he's figuring.
I'm cool. I have a TikTok.
Worried.
I'm cool.
I was really worried you guys were gonna say that 8 was the age y'all expected to stop believing in Santa. I wasn't like super far behind, but I was 10, and I still believed in Santa until, as I think this is how 90% of kids find out. There was a kid I hung out with, and he was like, "Yeah, Santa's not real," and I was like, "What?" I was like, and like my earth shattered for about 5 seconds, and I was like, "Oh wait, actually, now that I think about it, yeah, none of this makes any fucking sense whatsoever." Because what gets me is in the Christmas movies, they're all like, I'm surprised I didn't realize it because all the Christmas movies are really hands-on about how Santa's not real.
Right.
Like, all the adults are like, there's no such thing as Santa, you stupid kid.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any... Because at the end of all these movies, because the parents say that Santa's not real because, you know, it's like an inside joke for the adults. The adults watching the movie know Santa's not real, so the adults in the movie know that it's not real. But then at the end of the movie, Santa actually is real, and he brings presents every year. So what the fuck are these parents... Where do they think all these presents are coming from if Santa's actually real?
The divorced parent slid them under the tree to stick it to him. The game. That's what.
That's in the Polar Express. So like at the very end, Santa leaves the kid a present that's from Santa, and he opens it, and the parents are like, "Oh, we didn't buy you that present. They must have just gotten there." Like, they do not accept that Santa's real. They think the present just appeared out of thin air.
That's the magic of Christmas, bro. I was just talking to Jenna about this. I was like, oh my, I get sad every time the new year rolls around because that means the Christmas holiday season is over. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm just generally happier during the Christmas season. And I think it's because there's like a little magic, I was around my young nieces and nephew who believe in Santa, and it was cool to be around. And now it's like, oh fuck, what do I got now? Valentine's Day? Shit.
Are you being wholesome on our fucking horrible podcast?
Yeah, I am.
Bro,
I totally feel the same way. I'd say I'm happier during the winter months. I enjoy it.
And now what? Now we just have to wait, it doesn't get cold there in your home state, does it, Pound?
The coldest it gets is, and this is warmer than normal winter, but we only had one day where it got below 30, so that was kind of the extent of that. It's usually been like 50.
And what about you across the pond?
Oh god, we're gonna have to do some fucking conversions here.
I don't think you're gonna know how to convert it, but
I know how to.
Yeah, I would say it floats like in December. It usually floats anywhere between like -5 and +10, anywhere around there.
Anyway, the point is it gets
so
cold.
Like 40, 50 degrees Fahrenheit is the high.
Maybe.
Is the high. Okay,
possibly.
All right. Got it.
Yeah, chat were debating if they were actually losing molars or not. You definitely did. You probably swallowed them.
Oh.
That's a thing, right?
I don't know. That's like saying how many spiders do you eat on average a year when you sleep? You ever hear that?
I don't understand that stat. Where do they come from?
Do you know the story behind that?
What?
Some guy was trying to prove how like untrue facts can spread super quickly, and he just like printed that on the newspaper. And, like now everyone thinks it.
That's a
See, I
a
have
pretty
never
shitty
believed
place.
that because I don't understand where the fuck they come from. There are not that many spiders in my home.
And like, why do they only crawl into your mouth when you're sleeping? Like,
At
I'm
night,
laying on my
right?
bed, like I've never seen a spider crawl across my body.
And how
Yeah,
do I
the
just
ex-
swallow them automatically?
Yeah, the explanation from actual, like, I guess you call him a biologist or something. They're like, surprisingly, spiders aren't idiots. They don't just crawl inside of mouths and get eaten.
Yeah, but I will say that guy who posted that in the newspaper is a pretty big dick because like that's the one place I go and like trust my facts, right? Like if I read the newspaper, I'm gonna trust that is pretty accurate, right?
Yeah,
No.
no, you're right there.
If a scientist,
But his point was, always double check when you hear something. Don't just blindly believe stuff.
that's a good point.
I do when it's important, but if it's a fact like that, why not just believe it? Because it doesn't hurt me to believe it.
That is the best segue on the planet because we were
Oh
talking
no.
about conspiracy theories for like just like a second earlier. I gotta say, would you guys say the most commonly held conspiracy theory is that the Earth is flat? That seems like a pretty big one.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So, like, what if they're right? That changes fucking nothing about anything. There's nothing gained by you thinking the Earth is flat. It's not like I go buy an extra Coca-Cola. It's not like subliminal advertisement or something.
Yeah, but I think it hurts the general. Like, if you go around just believing things that are not accurate, like your reality eventually will just become distorted. If I go around thinking that chickens are in fact dinosaurs, right? Yeah, it might not hurt anybody, or Pound might not sell an extra Coke or whatever he said about advertising.
But dinosaurs are chickens. Wait, chickens are dinosaurs.
In what world is a chicken a dinosaur?
They evolved from dinosaurs.
Yeah, but they're not still dinosaurs.
Bro, why do you think a chicken evolved? Is that a fact? Did you read that in the
Yes,
newspaper?
they're the closest ancestors to dinosaurs.
Wow, I couldn't have picked a worse animal. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I go around believing that chickens are airplanes in a chicken body, how about that? Then that's eventually going to come back to, like, hurt me. If I'm, like, having a conversation with somebody and they're like, yeah, I had chicken for dinner the other night, and I'm like, well, you actually ate an airplane. Like, they're gonna think I'm a fucking lunatic.
It's because you are.
It's just not, it doesn't work in the long run.
Okay,
I think like the Earth is flat thing is like it hurts you trusting any like NASA, anything that NASA says you're like, well, it's bullshit because the Earth's actually flat and they just lie all the time, and then it leads into the government and stuff. So maybe it does have implications, but generally I agree.
Imagine you and I, us three, DC, Bailey, and Pound. We discover that the Earth is round. And we're like, hey, we discovered that the Earth is flat. And we're like, oh, let's fuck with people. Let's tell everyone it's round. What do we gain out of that at all?
Funny.
Wait.
I don't know.
We think the Earth is flat?
So imagine a parallel universe where the Earth genuinely is flat. But we're like in charge of the government and science, and we convince everyone the Earth is actually a round globe. What would we possibly get from tricking people into that?
It's like I said. I mean, it's robbing people of their realities eventually. But yeah, I guess you're right in the fact that like tomorrow morning would still come, and we would do the same things. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm saying that if I were to believe in a conspiracy, I would believe in something that has I would believe that politicians are secretly like eating children. Like that would actually be like of material. But if I'm going to be right, I want to be right big, I don't want to be like, oh, did you know if you walk 40 miles, you just fall off?
Have you guys seen the
I guess
Logan?
that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Have you guys seen the Logan Paul Earth is Flat video?
Yes, I've seen this.
That's excellent.
I don't think I have.
That is excellent.
It's very good.
If you haven't seen that, even if you hate Logan Paul, you need to watch his video because he does a full-length documentary, acting as if he believes the earth is flat, and he goes around to these conventions where these people believe it, and he just fucks with them so hard. It's epic.
And they're all like gassed because he's like hugely famous, and they're like, whoa, we got a famous person
Yes,
on board
they
to
are-
spread
does
our
he-
message,
does he
but he's actually
start
just
off-
fucking with them.
Does he start off? Yeah, so I haven't seen it. Does he start off like pretending to be the good guy with them? He's like, hey, I've got 20 million YouTube subscribers. I'm going to show all of them how the earth is flat. Why don't you teach
He doesn't
them
say
stuff?"
that, but that's the gist, yeah. The
Yeah.
gist is like, I'm on your side, I'm going to spread your message, but actually he's just making fun of them. It is pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty funny.
Wait, Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather? How is this happening? All right, so a YouTube boxer who's lost once to KSI.
He's 0-1.
He's 0-1. He tied him the first time, all right? But
Well, yeah, but-
nonetheless, in what world does he think that he can box Floyd Mayweather? I just don't.
I don't
It's not the point isn't to box him. The point is that he's going to make millions of dollars from doing it.
Sure, I get it. I just couldn't believe that Floyd Mayweather agreed to it.
The point also is, I think it's a pretty short fight, so I think whatever happens, they both win, because it's a pretty short fight. So I don't think that Logan Paul's gonna get like knocked out, right? I think he's gonna last the whole fight.
Wait, how long?
So
is
he
the
wins
fight?
there.
Did they shorten the rounds or something?
I don't know how long exactly, but I know it's not a full boxing fight.
Okay.
Did
So
you
he
guys
wins
hear
there.
that?
Oh, am I just
Yeah.
not talking?
Fuck you, Bailey.
I thought you were
Okay, you
finished.
can go. You can go.
No, you go.
No, it's a share point anyway. I'm done.
Okay, did you guys hear about that thing where I forget who made the bet, but somebody went up to Floyd Mayweather and he was like, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million if you can read this first grade book. And Floyd Mayweather was like, I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
That's
kinda
he
rude.
can't read, right?
Yeah, he can't read.
He's like, oh, why do I need to read when I'm driving my Lamborghini down the Hollywood Boulevard getting a blowjob from Lana Rhodes? Like, fuck.
How is he going to know what the speed limit is?
Fuck your first grade. He can literally pay somebody to tell him the speed limit at all times. He could pay somebody.
He could also just open up like Google Maps.
He could also learn how to read. Yeah, that's true. All right, Pound, I just am curious. We got off tangent about your New Year's resolutions, but after the soda, what was it?
Kind of directly related to soda is I'm going to try, I'm pretty sure I'm going to break this like maybe like once a month or something, but I'm going to work on it. I want to only eat food that I make at my house. And it can totally be like pre-made. Like it can be some frozen thing that I just put in the microwave. But I want to work on only getting food that is prepared in the house.
That's a
Because
great
one,
one.
it's cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah, and two, it kind of like does encourage me to start cooking more if I know I have to eat only from my house as well.
I respect that. Fast food is a fucking scam.
Jenna and I bought. You guys know what a Peloton is?
Yeah, the indoor bike.
We got a Peloton. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of stupid because a bike has one purpose, and it's to transport yourself. And they took away the only use of a bike.
Wait, in what world could you say that it has one purpose? It's exercise, right? It has exercise.
Yeah, but it was designed like
Oh,
who?
well, sure. Computers were designed for militaries to be able to communicate.
Isn't it like
but now,
$3,000?
No, it wasn't $3,000. They've come down in price.
I'm just saying that. I mean, what's a comparable? That would be like buying a car with no wheels for like $50,000, and you're like, yeah, check this out.
No, in no way, shape. That's no. I can't get on board with that. But that was funny.
Do you think the Pelotons, since that is the stationary bikes that you can't ride them anywhere for exercise, do you think they're ever gonna bring back like the Flintstones cars where you have to like push it with your feet and they convince people it's exercise?
Pound, do you walk into like not strangers' house? You walk into like your friend's house.
Do you ever look into somebody's house?
You go into somebody's house and they have a stationary bike and you're just like, this can't transport you anywhere, right? And they're like, yeah, we know it's for exercise. And you're like, well, that's not the main purpose of this machine.
Well, that's fucking stupid.
I think. So how much did you pay for your Peloton?
It was 4 figures. I don't know.
If your goal is to lose weight and get in shape, then I feel like a 4-figure sum of money you could get a gym membership for like a long fucking time, or you could buy like better food.
All the gyms are closed right now.
They're about
maybe you're like
$2,000.
bitch ass North State. My gym's been open for 6 months.
Yeah, and that's why you guys have the most deaths in all of the world.
Okay, look, fuckface. I will say that's another thing I brought up New Year's for is I feel like some people, like, I get the point of like a New Year's resolution. It's kind of like a new year. It's like a new start. But some people put so much weight, I guess, on the new year. Like, I've had people come into the bank and they're like, oh, I can't wait for 2020 to be over so I can stop wearing this mask. And it's like, it's not on a timeline. Like, it doesn't, the year doesn't just end.
Right.
Corona goes away after 2020. What do you mean?
Yeah, or like when a bunch of celebrities die. Like, I think that happened like 2019. Like, a lot of big name celebrities died. People are like, "Oh, I can't wait for this year to be over." It's like, well, people are still gonna die. Like, it doesn't.
Definitely happened in 2019.
Yeah.
But
do you guys have that feeling that some people like act like the whole world shifts when there's a new year?
Jen and I talked about this. So I'll just go first. I think it's it's very accurate that people are like, oh my God, this year's over, thank God. But like the problems don't start January 1. They don't stop, I mean. So they're going to bleed into this next year. But what I will say could happen is people start looking at it glass half full instead of half empty, which could be all we need to really like come out of this whole thing. Because Jenna said the same exact thing. She's like, people keep saying 2021 is coming, 2020 is over, it's going to be great. But no, the shit that's still happening on December 31st are very present on January 1st.
DC, if you can send me, like, get Jenna to record this, some video of you like struggling on the Peloton, and then video of you drinking a Bang energy drink, and then going all out. I will make like a commercial for Bang Energy.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna tell Jenna like we got to return this thing. Like, this thing can't even transport us anywhere. Right?
And as Jenna's just like, wait, why it doesn't move?
What?
You go in the next room and Jenna's on it, and she's like, DC, I'm sorry I haven't gotten groceries yet. This damn thing won't move. She's got like 1,000 miles on it.
Oh man! All right, what's next, boys?
Bailey, hit us with a Google form question of the day.
Oh yeah, for real.
These are questions submitted by the viewers.
I wrote a few of these down because, again, I'm a man of the people. I do this. And one that I thought would be interesting. Biggest childhood scare.
Well, it's funny that we already know DC's.
What?
When his molar fell out and he jumped in the parking lot.
No, mine stems from I was very unhealthily afraid of the dark as a kid, and it even bled into my adulthood, where I'm still I'm totally fine now.
That wasn't the only thing that bled.
Yeah, we cut that out. And the only I'm still pretty good with the dark, but sometimes when I look into a dark room when you can't see anything, it's just pure darkness, I envision these yellow monster eyes looking at me. But that's not my biggest scare. I would say my biggest scare was this, and it was very closely tied to being afraid of the dark. I had 3 levels in my house, in my townhome with my mom growing up. And
Big flex.
No, it's a townhome. It's small. It was just it's like half of a house. It was very tiny. But there was just this middle layer, and you guys know the stairs that have no backs to them, like you can kick through the stair, like there's
yeah.
Okay, so
wait, you can kick through the stair.
You can put your foot through.
I mean, not if you're like a normal human being,
Okay.
no, but it's possible.
There's nothing there. Yeah, it's just you can reach through or whatever. So I had this terrible, terrible fear that there was this clown. He was a blow-up doll, like those ones that like.
Was it? Did this come from your mom's bedroom?
Don't call it that.
Well, what are those things that like they're like blow-up dolls, but they lean back and forth.
Yeah, like a boppo.
Yes, yeah, where whichever side you push it goes. All right, so
if you would have said Boppo, I'd have had no fucking idea.
I don't know what that is. It sounds right.
I like how your description of it was, the thing you push and it goes in that direction.
Like those Peloton bikes.
Yeah.
Well, so there was those stairs, and then the floor had like a railing that you could reach through, and every time I went up these stairs and ran across the hallway, I had a real fear that this clown turned from a blow-up clown to a real clown, and he came over and he grabbed my feet and he pulled me under and he just started eating me like corn on the cob. And I to this day, I hate being chased up the stairs. If you want to see me squeal like a piggy, you just get behind me on the stairs and chase me, and I'll freak out.
Wait, was the clown real?
No, it was fake.
Oh,
it was all
okay.
made up. I don't know why he made his way into my life, but he was.
You said it like when I go up the stairs. Yeah, the clown comes to life. But there's no clown anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But I used to sleep with my head, like blankets around my head, and all you could see on my whole body was just my eyeball looking at the door, like somebody was gonna come in. And I had slept like that for years, and it was exhausting. All right, you guys go ahead, answer the question.
Yeah, so I was around 16.
Why do you sound so sad? Are you
Calling
okay?
a terrible
I was
memory.
thinking about those clowns. I was about 16 or so, and so my parents are divorced. So every other weekend I would go to my dad's house. He was at work, so it was actually just me, my brother, who was about 12, my sister, who was about 5 or so, and my dad's girlfriend at the time. So my dad wasn't there, and we're sitting in the living room playing Xbox. And there's a kind of like door with a window through it, so you can see out the front door, you can see like to the street and everything. And I see one of my dad's friends park his car like on the side of the road and like walk out. And I'm like, oh, look, it's my dad's friend. And he's walking to the door. I don't think anything of it. All of a sudden, he just like kicks the door open. And it's like bangs against the door. It's super loud. And I was like, what the like, why the fuck would he do that? And he's got like a crowbar in his hand. He's like, where's your dad? I was like, he's at work. And he like walks through the house carrying this crowbar, like walks through the house and like goes to my dad's room and like peeks in there. And my dad's girlfriend's just like screaming. She's like, get out of here, get out, get out. And I don't even fully comprehend what's happening. It's not until after he leaves that I realized he was coming to like kill my dad. Like it did not occur to me what was happening at all. And I later found out, because I didn't know this about my dad at the time. I only found out kind of recently that he used to do like a ton of drugs and meth and stuff. And his friend was just like coked out of his mind or something. And he just like, I guess my dad owed him money or something. He just like came over to kill my dad, but my dad wasn't there. And that was fucking terrifying after I realized what was happening. And then I didn't go to my dad's for quite a while.
I've known you for years, Pound, and finally things make sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Well, my dad didn't really raise me. I was mainly living with my mom. But I found out my dad did some interesting stuff.
That's terrifying.
Which actually, I guess I went to the girlfriend at the time. She was also like a big drug user, which I didn't know because I was like a kid. I didn't realize it. But she went to rehab. She got kicked out of rehab, which is hard to do. She was in rehab and she got kicked out of rehab, which is very hard to do. And she said, this is her explanation to us. She's like, yeah, the security guards there think somebody's fucking in there. They said it was me, but I ain't fucked nobody in rehab. And then like 2 weeks later, it turns out she was pregnant, so she was fucking people in rehab.
Pound, are you okay? Do you need to talk like off the pod?
Yeah, that's some intense shit, bro.
That was actually in my podcast notes of stuff I wanted to talk about. I was like, this has actually been kind of therapeutic talking to you guys, because I've had to like reflect on some things. Like I've shared like some stuff. What did I share that was like, we're like, that's stupid. I forget what it was.
That's hard.
I was thinking on it. Oh yeah, it was when you were talking about Rumham and how I was like a super big troll and stuff. And I was like, why did I always act like such a shithead and stuff? I kind of like thought about, I'm not saying this is the answer, but like I kind of thought on it for a bit. And there's not anyone that I would say there is 0 people that I'm close to. Like I have family and friends and stuff, but I never like open up about like my goals, my fears, or like anything personal like that with anyone. And it's because I suck at talking about stuff like that. I don't know how to have an intimate conversation with someone. And so I think because I don't know how to talk about things like that, that's why I just go into people's Twitch chat and I'm like, yeah, I have poopy on my penis, and just say stupid stuff like that. Because
you
that's
know
like,
why you're so into comedy? It's because of that. You try and be funny because it's the only way you know how to communicate naturally.
Yeah, I think I try to avoid ever having serious conversations with people because I just don't. I've never done it.
Can you have a serious conversation? Like, if I came to you crying.
I'm sure
And
if you
was
fucking tied him to a chair and spoke to him, he'd be fine. But
I'd be like,
DC puts a gun to my head. He's like, we're going to talk about our feelings, motherfucker.
I picture like calling Pound, like I have no one to talk to. I'm like, Pound, like my mom just died at me, and he'd be like, hey, did you fuck her? Pound.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've talked with like, I had an ex-girlfriend who was always suicidal. So like, I've talked to people about stuff, but I've never like, if somebody just,
I've talked to people about stuff.
I've had deep level conversations with people, but never about, it's always about them, never about myself. And yeah, it's kind of like what you said. I just, at work last week, someone had to take the day off because they said my grandmother just passed away unexpectedly. And I mean, I had no idea what I just said, oh, I'm sorry. And I kind of just like, that was all I said about it. I had no idea what to say to them or anything.
Well, do you get benefits at your job?
Yeah.
So you should, and this is not to make you sound.
No, yeah,
I'm not being mean. I'm just saying you should look into therapy, like exploring this with a therapist. You might make some insane discoveries about yourself that you would like breakthroughs.
That's why I got you two guys.
Yeah, I think like everybody at some point in their lives should try therapy.
Yeah.
Because everybody has at least one thing that you can talk about in a therapy session, and maybe it'd be interesting to go into it on a podcast. Probably not, though.
Just live stream the therapy session.
Yeah, right. I don't think you. This is just my very young view of it. I don't think you saying like, "Oh, you should try therapy" should be insulting. You know, I think everybody should.
Oh,
at least once.
It's been used as a derogatory thing in the past. That's
yeah, of course, but break it.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing I will say is therapy has to be something you want to explore yourself. My mom sent me to therapy as a kid, like a couple of times. She like different times in my life. Oh, my parents were divorced, so we had to
something to do with a clown.
We had to go see a family therapist, and then in high school, dude, I was like real. I just had like dark thoughts. I wasn't like suicidal or anything, but I didn't believe in God, and I was just like, and I think she just got scared, and so she's like, you have to talk to a therapist, and I wasn't open to that, and I didn't open up.
That was your dark thought?
I was just like, I went through a phase as a kid, like I was like, what's the point of life? Like we're just like, there's no point of living. But I wasn't suicidal. I was just like, what's the point? What are we doing here? We're forced to be here. You know, you're born out of not the choice of your own, and like it was that kind of thought process that was alarming to my mom, and so she thought that I should go talk to somebody about it, and I was not ready to talk to anybody. So I sat there in therapy, either watching the clock or asking him questions.
Did your mother ever talk to you about it?
Yeah, she tried, but dude, she's so she's very religious.
Yeah.
Not like she's not extremely religious, but she's always
no,
like,
I know what you mean. But
I put my faith in God at the end of the day, and I'm like, I can't do that. I don't believe in Him, so I don't have that ability. So it was very hard to relate to her.
Okay, so you know how people will say, not seriously, obviously, but if somebody like walks up and like spills water on you, you're like, hey, like, oh, I'll kill you, or like something like that. Like, I mean, that's maybe a bad example, but you know how people say like, I'll kill you, and they don't actually mean they're gonna kill them.
Yeah.
I have been to therapy before because my school forced me to go to therapy.
Wait, is this the second forced therapy you've had to go to?
This was in 9th grade or so. It was freshman year of high school. And there was this girl. Stop typing.
Sorry.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why are you typing in chat?
Because I just had, dude, sometimes one of our viewers, Robbie, just hits the name. Robbie's a very relatable, smart guy. And sometimes he needs to be
He's 16, you creep.
No.
He's 17, my bad. He's 17.
Sometimes he just needs to be affirmed of like, yeah, he's got some good thoughts.
So, sometimes it's a podcast I said he's 16, and you said sometimes it needs to be firm.
Affirm. Affirmation. Why does it go? Well, okay.
Okay, so there was this girl.
Therapy session.
There was this girl that I wanted to ask to homecoming, and I did not get the chance to. And then, like right before I was going to ask her, somebody else asked her. And so I go on Facebook, Just like very jokingly, I was like, dang it, man, I'm gonna kill you for asking her to homecoming.
Oh my god. You went home and you wrote on the internet, on social media, I'm gonna kill you. Like, that is
It did not occur to me that anyone would take that as a death threat over. So I come into
literally a death threat.
Literally, yeah.
I didn't say literally.
Were you friends with the guy who you wrote this
Yes.
to? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's better.
Right.
I thought it was just like some random other dude.
No, it was not some
I'm gonna
random.
kill
It's
you,
somebody I'm
LOL.
friends with. It's somebody I'm friends with. I come into school the next day. I get called in the office, and they have a printout of me saying it. And somebody, not the kid's mom, because I'm friends with this kid. Somebody else's mom saw that on Facebook, because I guess they like added all their kids and stuff to their Facebook to monitor it. And I got suspended from school. They said just to like make sure you're not serious, we can't let you come into school. And it didn't make any sense to me because I could just come in the next day and kill him. Like that didn't. It's not gonna. A 1-day suspension isn't gonna stop that. So it didn't even like. It would make one thing if they expelled me. That would at least follow with their. But if you genuinely thought I was gonna kill somebody, you wouldn't just say, "Oh, come in tomorrow." That wouldn't be your solution. But yeah, they made me go to I had to go to like 6 sessions of therapy. To like see if I was a killer, and shockingly they found out I was not a murderer.
Yeah, next episode we're going to go through and you're going to have to cite all the times you've been forced into therapy, had to
Those are the only 2 times.
Got in trouble with somebody. All right. But
okay, let's just clarify to put this in context. Y'all act like I've been forced into therapy so many times. I have only been forced into therapy as many times as DC has a tooth-related story. It's not that often.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, but I was like, my first thought was like, whenever they printed it out and they were like, "Oh, look what you said on Facebook," I would have said, "Oh yeah, somebody hacked my account." They said that to like 20 different people and just been like, "Peace."
Right?
Yeah. But when you're a kid, you're like, "Oh my god, they caught me. I'm busted. I'm gonna get it."
Yeah. So this kind of ties into I was not forced to go to therapy for this. I've shared this on stream a while ago. I was given there's like detention, then there's Saturday school, and then there's like suspension. So I was given Saturday school, so it's worse than detention, not as bad as being suspended.
You can't
so it was Saturday the weekend.
So.
Yeah, I was forced to come into school, and we had to like. It was so weird. You'd think we would just like sit in a room, but no, we had to like help somebody move some stuff around in the gym or something. It was so weird. I guess it was like free labor for them, and so this is how I got Saturday school. I think I said this on Bailey's stream, so Bailey might remember this. For geometry, we had to use a compass, which is this little thing.
Yeah, we've been there.
You put it on the test, and then you can like draw circles with it. So I had to get a compass, but I didn't have one. I asked to borrow one from someone, and he gives me his compass, and I was like, it's amazingly sharp. Like the edge that you like rotate it around, it's like a little pointy thing, and it's like a real, you could hurt somebody with it. So as a joke, I was like, yeah, this is really sharp. So I just like, somebody's walking by and I put it up to them. I don't actually touch them with it, but I like put it up to them. And the joke is that it's like, I have a knife or something, but it's just some little compass to draw circles with. I'm like, hey, you better watch yourself. And that was like the extent of it. And it was like 2 seconds and that was the end. And then the next day, I get called out of class, and this guy's like, hey, so did you threaten someone with a compass? I was like, I mean, I wouldn't say I threatened them. I put like a... Yeah, I mean, I've jokingly, yes. But I didn't...
I like how even like fucking 20 years later, you couldn't talk your way out of it.
I mean, technically, yes.
So you think I would get in trouble for that, right? You think that's like the extent of it. But all of a sudden, they start taking all the stuff that had nothing to do. It was just the simplest joke. And then this is the next thing that comes out of his mouth. He's like, so the kid you threatened, he's Muslim. I was like,
oh God,
what? I didn't know he was I did not know he did not look Middle Eastern or anything. I had no idea this kid was Muslim. And he's like, and also. And I wasn't thinking about this either. The day it happened was September 10th. the day. So completely on accident, I went up to a Muslim the day before 9/11 and told him to watch himself, which had nothing to do with the joke I was making. But all of a sudden, I got turned into like some right-wing terrorist, and I had to go to Saturday school. And the fucked up part is my mom was proud of me. My mom was like bragging about it to her friend. She's like, "Yeah, my son threatened a Muslim kid," and I was like, "I didn't know he was." I was like, "I didn't know he was Muslim," and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, sure you did," and she like winks at me.
Let me just congratulate you for making it this far in life. All right, we've learned.
I'm with you.
We've learned so far that your meth-infused father was almost murdered via crowbar, and then your mother chants to her friends in proud fame that you threatened a Muslim the day before September 11th. It's a miracle. It's a miracle you've turned out. It makes sense. You are the way you are a little bit now, but it's also a miracle. So I applaud.
Are you laughing or crying?
He's crying. He's over there bawling his eyes out. Oh my God. I go to my Discord general chat, my server, and the first thing I see is lol no pound. It says sex offender 38 spent hours glued to child porn on AT&T store iPad until horrified workers called police.
Yeah, how does this make any sense? This guy went to an AT&T store and started watching child porn on one of their tablets, and he was in the store for 4 hours before they called the police.
Maybe he's just looking for the right
AT&T was like, product. You can watch 3 hours of this content, but you go into... No, I don't know. You can't kick people out of that store. Like, I want to know, was he watching it the whole time and they were aware of it? Or they only found out in hour 4?
I mean, surely when you see somebody watching a tablet for 4 hours, because the AT&T store cannot be that busy.
Was he actively, masturbating?
Yeah, what do you get out of that?
Yeah, I don't know.
This is his excuse, by the way. This is his excuse, by the way. He searched for child porn in German. He didn't search it in English. He speaks English, but he searched it in German, I guess, so, like... They can't just pull up the history and it shows child porn. There's like a layer of security to it. And he told the police, this is legal defense he's going with. He said that he got his German mixed up and he tried to search for regular porn, but he searched for child porn in German by mistake.
That's still definitely a crime.
for 4 hours.
Whoopsie.
He's just like telling the employees about that. He's like, I swear the girls in these pornos get younger and younger. It's weirding me out. Do y'all know about the solar flare thing?
No.
That's a very broad.
So like once every 200 years.
Well, just to clarify, if this was this a suggested video when you were watching the Dragon documentary?
No, this is real. Once every 200 years or so, the Earth's magnetic field gets into a certain. I don't even know the words for it, but it leaves us, because normally the magnetic field blocks a lot of UV radiation and stuff, but every 200 years it's in a weakened state where if the sun has a big solar flare, it can actually just destroy every electronical thing on the Earth. And this actually happened in the 1800s, but the only technology they had was like phone lines. But like throughout the entire world, all the phone lines like exploded and caught on fire, and they had to like rebuild all of it. And people are terrified because if that happens now, I mean, we're done for.
I'd like to point out how you said the word electronical. Is that a word?
Probably. No. It sounds right.
I'm typing for 1 second.
All right.
It's in the Urban Dictionary, so no, it is not a real word.
I was supposed to say electrical?
No, electronics.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
So, I've only once in my life shit my pants. I had just gotten a job working at Buffalo Wild Wings. Bailey, do you know what that is?
They gave me my employee meal, and I shit my pants. All right,
No, you've already spoiled the entire story. So you have 5 days of training to like learn everything before they send you out on your own. And for each day of your training, all 5 days, you get one free meal at the end of your shift to take home. So the first 4 days, everything went just fine. I ate my Buffalo Wild Wings after work for dinner every day. And then the 5th day, not the 5th meal, but after the 4th meal, going to work for the 5th and final day of training, I get dressed, I walk out the door. I have always, because as I said, I had never shit my pants before. I have always heard it described as it feels like a fart, and it's actually shit. That did not happen. It did not feel like I had to fart. It did not feel like I had to shit. I had 0 stomach pains whatsoever. All I did was I lifted up my leg to take a step, and the contents of my bowel emptied into my pants. And the point of so your butthole is really tight, right? And I can only imagine the point of that.
Yours is, mine's not as tight.
I can only imagine the point of that is it's supposed to keep stuff in when you want it to stay there. Otherwise, it would just be a giant hole. So what the fuck happened here where I just took a step and everything just fell out? I had to, luckily I was left like 15 minutes early. I had to go into the bathroom, like, throw those pants away.
Yeah.
I like step into the shower for a second because it was horrific.
Wait, was it liquidy or was it solid?
Yeah, it was pure liquid.
Pure liquid.
Well, I just need to know if it was just,
No,
you
you
sick.
don't.
You were like, you got food poisoning or something, right?
I don't know, but I still got my 5th employee meal, but I put it in the fridge. I did not have Buffalo Wild Wings for like 2 days, let my body recover. And then I ate the 5th meal. And so from then on, I have always limited myself, like, pound, you've had Buffalo Wild Wings twice in the last 2 days. You can't have it
3 days in a
anymore.
row.
I have a hard cut. I know what my body can handle.
Rigorous testing.
That's terrible. Bailey, have you ever shit yourself?
No, but did you have a story you wanted to share, DC?
About shitting yourself?
Yes, well, about shit in general.
Oh my god, don't get me started on that, but that'll be a different segment. I have so many shit stories.
This is the segment for it.
This is literally the segment
I
for
need
it.
to think about it, but you guys know about when I reached in the toilet
Yes.
for $20, right?
Wait, what?
Nope.
Wait, repeat that?
I was in college. We were freshmen. We were living in the freshman dorms, and my RA, resident assistant, you guys know what an RA is.
Yeah.
Recon assistant?
Recon. Shut the fuck up, Pound. Don't laugh at that, bro.
That was my favorite part of episode 2. I even titled it after it.
So the RA took a huge shit in the shared bathrooms, and he was so proud of it, how large it was, that he didn't flush it, and he said, "You guys got to go check this out." And so we let it linger there for like a day, 2 days, because it was a massive accomplishment.
2 days.
Yeah, we let it just marinate. And then so Friday night rolls around, and we're drinking, and we're getting a little loosey goosey, and we're like, "Oh my god, remember?" I almost just did a British accent by default. I don't even know. Bailey, something about you just brings it out in me. You guys
Maybe because
remember-
I'm British.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's like, "Hey, you guys remember the shit in the toilet?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." So we all go in there for some reason. I don't remember how. And we're all circled around it. And my roommate goes, "I'll give you $20 if you grab that, bro." And I was like a little drunk, and I was like, "Yeah." And so I fucking reach in, I squeeze it between my hands, and it was awful, dude. I washed my hands probably like 70 times, and it's still like I still felt dirty. But I reached in there, I grabbed it, I squeezed it, and it was like, my buddy has it on video, and it's like, I've told him to just please delete that, like get rid of that, that can't exist. And he's always said, yeah, and then he winks at me after he says, "You got it." And so I know he still has it, but yeah. Stop clicking your mouse, Pound.
Sorry.
I was hoping it was. But yeah, that's...
I've got a much quicker story, and it's not me, but I was in Barnes & Noble, a bookstore. I was in the bathroom taking a dump, and I hate using public restrooms because poop grosses me out and like makes me... If I hear somebody shitting next to me, I start gagging. Like, I have a very weak stomach for it. This guy next to me is just unloading himself, and it's just like the most horrific sounds. And if I go into any public restroom, I always bring earbuds so I can like play really loud music so I don't have to hear stuff. And he finally finishes, and I was like, thank God. Like, I turned the music down a little bit, and he washes his hands, and he walks out. I hear the door open. I hear him open the door, and then it is as if somebody stabs him with a knife. He's just like, oh! And all of a sudden, he sprints back to the toilet.
Oh, God, dude.
Within 1 second of sitting down, I just hear like an atomic bomb of shit going off.
That is awful.
He gets out and he's wearing a Buffalo Wild Wings employee shirt. He's like, oh, fourth meal, bro. Got me.
It's always awful.
That is like the worst feeling because he thought he was done. I thought he was done. He's washing his hands. He's like, finally, I can put this behind me. And then I can just perfectly remember the sound of him. Like, I legit thought somebody was standing outside the restroom and must have, like, punched him in the face or something. Because he was like, he opens the door and he's like, oh!
I was one of those kids who hated going in public bathrooms, like growing up. Like, I would always hold it until I got home or some shit. But when I was forced, and even now I'll do it, when I was forced to use public bathrooms and there's somebody else shitting in the stall right next to you, like where you could reach down and tickle their toes if you wanted to, like, I hate that. That is so intense for me. So I'm the person who brings their phone in and sits on the toilet until that other person leaves, bro. And it's like playing a game of chicken, where if you get two guys in there who don't like shitting with somebody else in there, you'll sit in there for like 26 minutes. And then finally, sometimes you just gotta fold, and you're like, "Fuck it, I'll come back in like 10 minutes."
Man, that's so weird. I'm so opposite of that on like social stuff. I'm like, bro, we both know while we're here. Just get the fuck over it.
No, I hate it. I hate it.
It's not like a social thing, like I'm embarrassed or something. I just like get sick.
Oh, I'm embarrassed
listening to someone shit next to me.
That's interesting. So we have somebody, Bailey, who could care less. Pound, who's like physically and anatomically sick by the sight of poop, and then me,
and you who picks them up.
And me who picks them up and squeezes them, but doesn't want to hear about it.
On the topic of shit stories, I messaged Pound midweek about something that I've seen on another podcast. This podcast, as in last episode, is just ripping off other podcasts, but game show in the UK, and it's called Would I Lie to You? I've never watched it, but again, it's just a rip-off from another podcast. And I thought we could make this almost like a weekly segment. So obviously I'll go first because it's my segment, but in future episodes, well, let me explain the concept. So you bring a story, right? And one of us has the story, and either it's all complete bullshit or it is a true story. And I give you basically like a headline of the story, and you two have to answer or ask questions to decipher whether I'm bullshitting you or if I'm telling the truth. And maybe we can have like some point system or something. Yeah, Badger will get a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun because we tell stories on it anyway, but this allows for more extreme stories that maybe we wouldn't share, and we can pass them off as bullshit.
I'm totally down. I love this idea.
Thank you. I totally made it myself. So I guess I'll go into my story, right? You two can have as long as you want. You can make the segment as long as you want, but when you're ready to guess, just let me know. You don't have to guess as a pair. You can guess against each other, whatever you want to do.
So you're about to tell us a story. We get to ask you questions, and then we submit our votes. Okay.
I'm going to give you a headline, right? I'm going to give you like one sentence, and then you ask whatever you want to ask. We can make that go as long as you want. Then you have to guess if it's true or false.
Okay.
All right. So, when I was still a virgin, I went to a girl's house and she ate her own shit.
I think this is a fake story.
Why is it relevant to you being a virgin?
I mean, I can elaborate if you'd like.
They say
me
the
to.
biggest thing about liars is they add too many details to their story.
Oh, interesting. Wait, so are we not supposed to ask questions?
No, you are supposed to.
Okay, so why is it related?
It's related because I was talking to this girl for a while, maybe about a year, and her parents, I think they owned some sort of like caravan park or something, and they were away, so she was like, yo, you want to come over? So I'm like, yeah, for sure. But...
Would you say a caravan thing?
Yeah.
An RV park, a trailer park.
Yeah, a recon park.
Yeah, a recon park.
Yeah, so she's like, you want to come over? I'm like, sure. So... We were talking before that, and we were like flirting and shit, and we were talking about fingering, right? So we were watching something on Netflix. We were on her couch, right? And I'm like, this is it. This is my fucking moment, right? So I go in, and little virgin me doesn't know what the fuck a vagina is, okay? So I go in, right? I
love that when you say that word in British, it has an R on the end of it. But yes, keep going.
Wait, which word?
It's a vagina.
Vagina.
Yeah, it's a vagina, ER, right? Long story short, get the wrong
There's
hole.
vagina, vaginer, and vaginist.
I don't get it, but sure. Long story short, get the wrong hole, right?
Oh no!
Yes, this is where this is going, right?
This is true.
Fuck. Right? So then she moves. She turns around at me, right? I don't even know if she's realized at this point because she gets my hand and then sucks my 2 fingers that I was using. Right? And that's why it's important I was a virgin, because I didn't even realize what was wrong, but she looks fucking disgusted, right? And she walks off into the other room and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Wait, so she walks off disgusted after she tastes your fingers?
Yes.
I'm deeply upset right now about everything because I know. Okay, I'm casting my vote right now. It's 100% true, and that is so. You got the wrong hole. What
Bro, I was like
position?
16.
But that doesn't even make sense.
But what position were you guys
And
in?
you can't just slide in.
No, Bailey went in fucking guns blazing. What were you guys sitting on a couch? Were you laying down?
We were laying down. I was behind her. She was in front of me.
Oh, like spooning.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, bro, you just went past the whole thing on the front of her, called her vagina, and just went straight for that booty.
Bro, I didn't fuck.
I know. Well, all right. So before this,
That's why it's important.
did anybody ever explain it to you? I mean, I guess I'm trying to think. Like, did anybody explain it to me? And I guess no, not really. Like,
Fuck
you just,
no.
yeah,
That was like my first time staying at a girl's.
yeah.
Which is why it's such an awful story.
All right, Pound. Well, he's kind of. If this is a lie, this was the most well-crafted lie ever.
I
Any
think that's a
questions,
lie.
Pat?
That's not how buttholes work. You can't just slide in there.
To a 16. Well, that's true.
Well, like I don't even know to this day if I.
Oh, now he's blah, 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 blah.
No, well, whatever.
Okay,
whatever.
Cash.
Caught.
Pound, do you have any follow-up questions, or are you ready to cast your vote?
This fucker is lying.
All right. Let's. How do we do a reveal? Edit in a drum roll.
I like how you're just saying like you're not even asking if I can do something. You're just like throw in a drum roll.
Also, as I'm about to do my big reveal.
You don't have to do anything. Just ignore me. But if you have time, throw in a drum roll.
No, it's complete fucking bullshit. Pound dude.
Damn it,
DC, I can't believe you fell for that.
Oh, dude, you were so emotionally. Okay, so now I'm getting. I'm getting the point of the game.
I was wrong because it was told super.
You seemed so genuine. So it was well delivered. Well done.
Right.
I'm wrong.
The reason I wanted to do this is because I don't know why, but this is maybe
I'm a
like
psychopath.
yeah, this is like sucking my own dick, but I've been told so many times that I'm good at making up like shit stories just on the spot.
Yes, same
Oh,
here.
I get it.
It's good at
shit stories.
It's good at
Yeah,
lying.
fun.
It's what it is. You're probably a good liar.
I was speaking to this girl once. This is true. This is entirely true.
Yeah, I can't believe that though. I don't know, man.
It's like, this is entirely true. I was trying to have sex with a dragon, but when her butt.
Right? You know the YouTuber Orange Juice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He goes by Yarn, yeah? Mm-hmm. So me and Badger had this really shit joke that she was talking about how much she liked orange juice. So I convinced her that orange juice had yarn in it, and she fucking believed me.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's my inspiration.
I guess they're like, oh, that's what the pulp is. Like, I guess I could.
That's what I went with. I went with those details.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
you know those bits? That's fucking wool. And the reason.
What connection did you
this is so
make
good.
between why wool is in a glass of orange juice?
Right? What I said was they didn't put it in like initially, but you know like when like kings and shit would have feasts, they'd make themselves throw up so they could eat more. I told her that was a tactic to when they were having big feasts, the download of orange juice had wool in it, it'd make them throw up so they could eat more.
Wow. That's insane.
And I'm proud of that.
That's insane. That
It's
anyone would believe
believable
that.
because you know that pre-grated Parmesan cheese they sell
Let
in
me
stores.
let me stop you right there. It is not believable to think that the pulp in orange juice is made of yarn. But yeah, go ahead, Pound.
The Parmesan cheese is, if you look at the ingredients, it's Parmesan. There are two ingredients: Parmesan cheese and then wood pulp. Like it's the cellulose or whatever, like the stuff that plant cell walls are made out of. That's what they put in Parmesan cheese at the store to stop it from like clumping up together. So if they put that in cheese, like if they put wood in cheese, I would believe that they put wool in orange juice.
DC's typing frantically.
Typing.
Yeah. No, don't mind me.
Now it's only pre-grated.
It has cellulose, which is made from wood pulp.
Yeah.
It's not wood pulp itself.
Fuck's sake.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, it's so much better now.
Well, according to my findings, you're technically incorrect.
Actually, fucker. Yeah. Would you ever do you think in the future, because there's the stereotype of like jocks and nerds, and like the jocks like bully the nerds at school. Do you think in the future that like the internet is going to get so integrated into life that like all the nerds are actually the bullies at school, and like somebody like some 6'5", like 300-pound pure muscle like football quarterback will be like throwing around a football, and like some like disgusting pale-skinned guy comes up to him, and he's like, I bet you've never even been on fucking 4chan, loser. And then like all the like kids start laughing at the football player because he doesn't go on the internet.
What is 4chan?
Oh no.
What? I know you're fucking with me.
I'm not fucking with you. Is that another
4chan?
4chan. I have no. Is that another click on the cookie flash game?
I'm not even getting into this,
bro. 4chan. That sounds like that sounds. I've never heard of it.
It would literally have to be like a 10-hour history lesson of the internet.
He's just getting called 4chan.
4chan is a simple image-based bulletin board where anyone can post comments and share images anonymously.
So in honor of 2021, our first episode of the podcast had 52 views, and we gained 3 subscribers off of it.
Wow.
Our second episode of the podcast got 95 views, twice as many, and we gained 7 new subscribers off of that video. So highly appreciate the BT... now DC's song is making me fuck up. The BPD podcast is on the come up, boys, and we highly appreciate everyone that tunes in on Twitch and YouTube to watch it.
Let's get 100 views on this one and 20 likes.
Yeah,
I was actually shocked at how many likes we had. Of the 95 views, we got 11 likes and 0 dislikes.
Okay.
That's a pretty good ratio.
I've just like tried to make people believe that I fingered a girl's ass accidentally. Like,
yeah, that's.
I told
true.
people I've been forced into therapy after I was raised by my meth father.
Yeah, that was content, man.
I like how DC's just like, yeah, that was good content.
Yeah,
your childhood trauma is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, fuck your childhood trauma. That was great content, man. Bring more pain next week, all right? More hurt.
He's like, did any siblings like die or anything?
That's hilarious. All right, so we'll do it. Just give me a topic.
Anus fingering.
So this is the end of the podcast. We've had a lot of fun. We learned about Bailey going in the wrong hole. Just kidding. You went in hole number 1. So here we go. It's the end of the BDP podcast. We had a lot of fun with you guys until Twitch exploded on our ass. We are the 3 best friends that anyone could ever have. So tune in next week to the podcast. It's the BDP podcast. It's the BDP. It's the BDP. It's the BPD. I'm sorry, I got it wrong again. All right, there you go.
I thought you were literally rubbing it in my face. You're like, it's the BDP, BDP.
It just that's what rolls off my tongue.
Yeah, it does roll better.
Also, DC, you had like 2 opportunities in there to make an ass joke, and you just didn't.
It's too hard. I can't play and think of lyrics at the same time. It's too hard.